the rebar bending saga in in the Philippines, baby. In the nowhere else. Well, I've only lived two other places for a long period of time and had construction companies, but nowhere in those two states, Florida or New York, and also Michigan, nowhere in those two states, three, couldn't I make a phone call for a rebar bender Monday morning and have that rebar bender before Friday? Nowhere. In New York, I used to order anything I needed for a heavy equipment company, a crane and barge company, anything. Brakes for a 1955 crane. They weren't in stock. Take the brakes off, bring them to a company about 5 miles from my house, and they relined them. If I needed tires for a backhoe, go pick up the tires. There's 500 warehouses in New York State for tires. You go pick out a tire. Here, you can't do that. You just can't do that. It's 4 months now. It took weeks to find a starter for a machine I was doing work on. Weeks. And then, an alternator. And the alternator has a value of a rebuilt alternator in America for that machine has a value of about $175. $175. That's it. You bring in the alternator in, they give you another one, so let's just say $200 for any kind of backhoe or track hoe or heavy equipment. Okay? Here they want $450. This is the absurdity of this. I'm going to have to bring the alternator just to Cebu, and I'll pay about $175 for it. They're taking a $175 rebuilt alternator and just asking me for $450. That means they're going to make $275 US to bring an alternator from Cebu to here. $100 to make that deal happen, I'll pay them. So $275. They won't budge on the price. They won't budge on the price. So now let's go to the rebar bender. So this morning, now I don't call my bank every day, but I bought a rebar bender. Today is what, the second? Third. Today's the third. I bought a rebar bender on February 24th. I paid 162,900 pesos for that. That was the woman who sent me 85 messages back and forth. Last week's rebar bending story tell. While I was on the live stream, she was sending me, sir, we'll have those pictures of the motor inside the rebar bender for you today. They're going to not come from Manila anymore. The rebar bender isn't in Manila anymore. The rebar bender is now in Cebu, and we'll have those pictures for you today. And that's while I was doing the live stream. 84 messages back and forth in a period of 72 hours. Started on Friday afternoon at 4:14. It ended at 6:12. 2 hours of bullshit. We continued it on Saturday morning, and then Sunday I think I did the live stream. Okay, here's the bottom line. After 84 messages, now in this process of 84 messages, we're going to use the girl's name, Michelle. She lied. She said she had it in her warehouse. She said her warehouse was around the block. She said she could send me a picture, but she never did. That went on for about 20 messages. Then she said, sir, we have been notified that that machine has been shipped to Cebu, so they will have to send you a picture. We're going to ask them for a picture. That went on for another 15 messages. In the process, you go to the bank on Monday, or Monday it was, and when we send you the picture of the motor that you asked for Friday afternoon, you could deposit the money into the bank account, which I had no problem doing. It's not a problem. Send me what I... But they can't send a picture from Cebu. So I went to the bank on Monday. I didn't go to the bank. I went into the city. I have 3 banks that are within 5 minutes of anywhere I was. I said, I'm in the city. I'm ready to deposit the money into your account. Where is my contract for what you're going to send me? So you get the contract after you ship the money to us. This is nonsense. I deposit $3,000 in her bank account. She doesn't give me a receipt for anything. It's her money. There's no... Legally, it's her money. I gave her the money for whatever reason, because she has a nice voice, whatever. So, and that happened again today, by the way. So I tell her, look, are you going to send the picture? Because I can go to the bank right now. Again, because it's right. I was in BQ. The bank is around the corner. Sir, I have to regret to inform you. Now I'm gonna show you all of these messages one day. I can't do it because this cell phone doesn't record images off itself. But I have 85 messages from this woman. I may take a few out that are personal information in them, but all the rest you're going to see. Please send us the money. Please send us the money. We'll send you a receipt after you send the money to my bank account, blah, blah, blah. So at 11:55, 12 o'clock, she says, sir, we regret to inform you this machine is no longer in stock, but we should have it by the end of the week. So what she was doing is she was going to take my money and use my money to buy the machine and then send me the machine, maybe, because she wasn't sending me a contract. When I asked her for a contract, she sent me a blank sheet of paper with the name of her company on it. This is the contract that we will write the contract on. I said, no, I didn't ask you what you're writing on. I asked you for a contract. Okay, so she's gone. Michelle is gone. That's Monday, right? Tuesday, I did a bunch of stuff. Wednesday, I did a bunch of stuff. Today, bunch of stuff to buy another rebar bender. 6, 7 more companies. Hundreds more phone calls. Yesterday, I went to Wilcon. Totally worthless company. The company is absolutely, from the time you walk in and start talking to get what you want, you can't. You can't. Because if you go to Wilcon and you ask the manager, who's a very nice young man, to look up if you have a rebar bender in your computer inventory in stock in this warehouse. The place is huge. No, sir, we cannot look up inventory on... The manager can't look up inventory on his computer. So I said, well, how would you know? He said, we'll call up the main office. That's okay, fine. Call up the main office and find out if you have a rebar bender. Well, that took 45 minutes of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth phone calls. Finally, the warehouse sends him a screenshot of 3 rebar benders. An RS-33, an RS-45, I think it was, and an RS-50. The 50 weighs, the rebar bender I want weighs about 300 kilos, 600 pounds. And basically you can tell, now I can tell by the weight you can tell what size rebar it will bend, because all 45 RB45s weigh 300 to 325 kilos. All RB50s weigh 450 kilos. This guy sends the manager to Wilcon the RB50, or the equivalent model, weighs 7 700 kilos. 700 kilos. That's 1,400 pounds. I don't know what kind of rebar bender it was, but it didn't say how big the bar was that it would bend. And I don't want a 700-pound rebar bender because I know it's way bigger than I want. I think I was wrong about that, but 700 pounds from 300 means it's almost twice the size, or more than twice the size. I don't want that. So we go to the the RS. They have a different designation. We go to the RB45, and there's no size bar that it bends. Now, all three of these rebar benders have 220 three-phase motors in them. That's problematic. It could be problematic. You have to change the wiring around inside, and you may need to add capacitors to the motor, which is not that complicated, but I don't want to buy a brand new machine and then have to start doing electronic work to it. And then maybe the capacitor that will run the motor after the motor is started. You have to understand the way capacitors in induction motors work. But if the motor is 3 horsepower and you change it from 3-phase to single phase, it's possible. But if you go to start the motor and it doesn't have a load on the motor, it will probably turn the motor over with no load. But if the machine has a load on it, gearing mechanism, whatever, belts, whatever it is, then you'll have to use, it may not start when you change it from 3-phase to 1-phase. You may have to use a capacitor to get it started. Now, there's a way to figure out the size of the capacitor. So a 3-horsepower motor, you can look on a chart, it says it needs a number 3 capacitor. It's not the number, but I'm just saying. Now you have a number 3 capacitor on a single-phase motor that you change to single phase, and you go to start the motor, but it has a load on it and it won't start. You used the right capacitor. So now here's what you got to do. You got to get another capacitor, another number 3 capacitor. And you have to hook them in series, which is simple. But you have to hook it in series and put a dead man switch on it. Which means that because the machine has a load on it, when you want to start the machine, every time you want to start the machine, you have to use both capacitors to start the machine. And then as soon as the machine starts, you let go of the dead man switch and the second capacitor disengages. Otherwise, you'll burn up the motor. I don't want to do that with a brand new machine. I don't want to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a machine and have to put dead man switches on it day one. I could do it myself, but an electrician would probably do it in an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's not the point. I don't want a 3-phase motor. So their RB45 should bend 45 millimeter rebar, because when it says 45 in all the other rebar benders, it bends 45 millimeter rebar bender. So I said to the manager, how big is the rebar that it will bend? I don't know, sir. Well, okay, so can you find out? I'll try, sir. So he calls back. Now it's well over an hour. He calls back and says, what size rebar will the machine bend? The guy on the other end of the phone didn't know what size rebar bent. He didn't know. He sells the machine. You're supposed to know that. But if you look up the nomenclature for the machine online, it doesn't exist, the machine. It doesn't exist because it comes from Japan. So Japan doesn't have that machine listed in Google. Okay, find out the size of the rebar that it'll bend. And also, did you find out the price? No, sir. But it's an hour now. You don't have a price. Not yet, sir. This is at Wilcon. So I said, okay, find out the price. And all this time I'm doing other stuff with my phone, and I'm Googling different how to do that phase converter from three phase to one phase. It's all possible. It's all possible, but it's money. Oh, and it's parts. You could spend another 10,000 pesos for the electrician and the parts and the wiring and the box. You got to put a separate box for this stuff. So he gets back to me with a price for 300,000 pesos, which is exactly double from the rebar bender that I can get from Manila. The 149 and 300,000. 149 is half the price of his rebar bender. So I said to him, well, show me the specs on the rebar bender. What will it bend? Maybe it'll bend a 50 bar. Sir, I'm waiting on that information. I'm going, well, I'm here an hour and a half now, 1.5 hours. Yes, sir. You said you would wait. Excuse me? How long did I say I would wait? He said 1 hour. I said, I'm here an hour and a half. Yes, sir. Can you wait a little while longer? I said, I don't really want to, but I'll wait a little while longer. I wasn't in any hurry to go anywhere. So now another 20 minutes goes by, and I said, did you get the specs yet? No, not yet. Okay, here's what you do. Look up a handheld. Do you know, this is the manager of the biggest store in Bohol. There's no biggest store. This is the biggest store in Bohol on the island of Panglao, but it's the biggest store in Bohol. It's bigger than any other supply company. There's nothing that even comes close. Can you look up a handheld rebar cutter that will cut 32 millimeter rebar? He goes, maybe we have one in the hardware department, tool department in the back. I said, we'll go look. So you're the one that knows what it looks like. So I give him a picture off my phone. It looks like this, and I sent it to his phone. You go in the back and look. I'm doing other things on my phone right now. Sir, let me find out. I said, well, you can't find out because your computer won't look up rebar cutter in your store. I'll call Manila. So he has to call Manila to see if he has a handheld rebar cutter in his store here, because his computer doesn't attach itself to an inventory list, number one. And number two, on their website, if you Google rebar cutter, it shows you duct tape. Literally, it shows you some odd random thing. It's like it's going through like a roulette wheel. So I said, do you have the rebar cutter? He goes, sir, I found one. Show it to me. He shows me a picture of a handheld rebar bender with a B-E-N-D-E-R. So I said, look, dude, I want a rebar cutter. Yes, sir. We're waiting on the price. We're waiting on to see how big the bar is that you cut that you can bend. I said cutter, handheld rebar cutter. Yes, sir. They're finding out how big of a bar you can bend. I said, you're not listening to me, dude. I want a handheld rebar cutter. I want a hydraulic or electric rebar bender. The bender is the big machine that weighs 300 kilos, and the cutter you pick up with your hand. And I said to him, and he goes, sir, the rebar bender, we're waiting on the specifications. I said, you got to be kidding me. I'm saying handheld rebar cutter, and you put it in your hand. It weighs 18 kilos. Let me show you another picture of it. So I show him a different one, an RB, an RC rebar cutter 32, model 32 millimeter. Oh, you want a cutter for the hand? Yes. You're the manager? He had no comprehension he had no ability to retain words that he wasn't used to in English. None at all. Rebar cutter, rebar bender. He heard the word rebar. That's where the conversation started and stopped. Okay, so we come to the conclusion that his company does not sell rebar cutters. At this point, information comes in on his cell phone that the rebar bender will bend a 32 millimeter bar. Even though it's an RS 45, it'll only bend a 32 millimeter bar. So they're giving you a smoke screen saying that this is an RB 45 when all RB 45s bend 45 millimeter, except this one only bends 32 millimeter, and all RB 45s cost 150,000 pesos, but this one costs 300,000 pesos. So I says, I think you have the wrong price for that. No, sir. Check, please check, because it should be for a 32 millimeter rebar bender should be about 150,000 pesos. Say checks, and his price was 300,000. Now, why was his price 300? Because when you walk into the store, if you know anything about business, if you know anything about math, if you know anything about HVAC, if you know anything about air conditioning, if you know anything about lighting, if you know anything about energy efficient stores, you just walk into the store, and before you get through the entrance, you know why the machine is twice the price. The ceilings are 30 feet to where the lighting is, and another 5 feet of trusses and stuff like that. The ceilings are 35 feet high in the store. There's not a second floor. There's no level 2. And all of the floor, all of the layout of the store is on the ground floor. It goes back 700-800 feet, and then it makes a right. I never went back there because I didn't need anything but a rebar cut bender. So what you're paying for is air conditioning from the 8-foot or 10-foot height of a normal store up to the roof, 35. You're paying for 25 feet of dead air, and you're paying a company to air condition it, but you're also paying for how many thousands of lights that were in the store. The store was lit up like daylight in the store. Huge, giant, huge neon or 500, 1,000 watt bulbs. Hundreds of them. You could count them down the line. So you're paying for all of these lights to make electric lighting and the heat that comes out of them, and then you're paying for the air conditioning unit to cool the store down. Well, it's not an energy efficient store, so you're going to have to make up the difference on the pricing of the items. Now, I only looked at a few things. Tile. I don't know much about tile, but I will tell you that the tiles I looked at, they were beautiful tiles. There was thousands of options for tiles, not 100 options, thousands and thousands of tiles everywhere. For the left-hand side of the building. On the right-hand side of the building, if you want a custom toilet, and I mean toilet, you want to go to Wilcon. That's where you want to go. They have probably 200 custom toilets, square ones, round ones, special design ones, white ones, pink ones, blue ones, black ones, silent flush, non-silent flush. And then they have the matching stand-up sink that goes with that, and they have the matching tubs for the toilets, porcelain toilet, porcelain sink, and then a matching tub. I didn't go touch them, but there were hundreds of toilets to pick from. And that seemed to be their forte. Toilets on the right, tile on the left, and thousands of options for tile. But when I looked at the price of the tile, I'm going, is that the right price? It's $2 for this particular tile. It was $2 per tile, and it was 9 by 9. That's a lot of money to spend for a tile, 9 by 9, and it wasn't that pretty. But it could be imported from Italy. It could be worth it. I don't know. I would never put that tile. If you gave me the tile to put on my floor, I'd want to swap it out for something simple. It was black and silver, and when it got wet, you'd slide across the floor, break your head on the tile. Anyway, so now I'm in the store 2 hours. The machine, the RS-33, which is the smallest of the three machines, nobody could get me a price. Nobody could get me the size of the bar that it bent. So I said to the manager, well, this machine, the RS-45, is twice the price, and it bends a smaller bar than the one I can buy for 149,000 pesos. Now comes the sales pitch. The sales pitch is, yes, sir, but if you have to go to Manila to go get that machine, then you have to pay for airfare and transportation. I said, yeah, that'll be like $500. Yes, sir. But you can have this machine delivered to you by the end of the week. I said, yeah, but it's $3,000 more. Yes, sir. But you don't have to go to Manila. I said, yeah, but I'd be saving $3,000. Sir, have you ever been to Manila? I'm going, no. Sir, it's better that you buy the machine from us. That was it. I got up. I said, thank you very much. I said, he gave me a beautiful cup, Wilcon, to put my water in when I was there, because I bring my own water. I have a lifetime memory. It's a very high quality cup. They have a good quality stuff there, yeah. Very high quality. You could, listen. It's almost like the old ice cups, the cups you used to get the ice out of with the wooden spoon. It reminded me of that, so I saved it. It's a very nice cup. It's made by Building Big Ideas. Building Big Ideas. Made by Wilcon. So, anyway, I said thank you, and I left. So now I get back on the phone this morning to a new supplier that sent me the information I wanted via my mail, except for the price of shipping. And the shipping is whether I go to Manila and pay for it cash or with a credit card, or I have it shipped. I trust him, and he writes me up a proper contract, which he doesn't know how to write, but I explained it to him. And he's going to send me his legal papers, all that stuff means nothing if you don't check to make sure it's real. I'm sure he has a real company. This is today's rebar bender. Today, not yesterday. Yesterday there were 4. Today there's 1. So I said to him, Dennis, Adam, Wilcon, they will con you. Will con you. Dennis was a play on words. I already figured that out, but I didn't want to say it during the live stream. But you did, and I'm glad you did. They will con you. So you were right. So now I call up Mr. Manila. Nice guy. I asked him to send me out the brochures. He has it in stock. If I go to Manila, I let him know the day before he pulls it out. He puts it in the showroom for me. Not a problem. I pay for it, but I still have to pay for shipping. And shipping is okay. So I said to Mr. Manila, how much is the shipping? We don't know that, sir. I didn't ask you how much, approximately how much. Sir, we won't know that until you pay. Now, here's They all have a gimmick. They all have a gimmick. Until you pay for the machine and the shipper comes here and puts it on his truck and weighs it with his scale, we won't know how much the shipping is. I said, but you have a scale. You don't need a scale. It's on the whaler. It's on the import. It's on the import bill of lading. Yes, sir. But the truck has to weigh it out itself. I'm going, well, can you call up the freight company and tell them the weight is 325 kilos? No, sir. They have to put it on their truck. And I said, well, I did this once before, and the shipping went from 12,000 pesos to $600, or it went to 30,000 pesos. Yes, sir, that's possible. Really? So I have to wait. So what did it? This is a gimmick. So you paid for the machine, no refunds. You paid for the machine, and you leave, and you get back to Bohol, and the shipper comes and says it's $600, when it should be 12,000 pesos, should be $220. So I said, well, can you get me an approximate price? No, sir. You have to pay for the machine. I said, first of all, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I have to pay for the machine, but I want to know how much the shipping is. Why is this so complicated? Call up the shipper and ask him how much he charges to ship a 300-kilo machine from your door to Bohol. They won't have that information, sir. I says, it's a shipping company. Listen, you guys can believe what you want. I don't care what you believe. Most of you people out there that watch my videos are stone stupid. You don't know how business is done. You don't know how shipping is shipped. You don't know what a bill of lading is. You don't know what a weigh bill is. You know nothing. You can call up any shipping company in New York City and tell them you have a box that's 24 by 24 by 24 and it weighs 200 pounds, and they'll have a price for you in 35 seconds. It's a chart. It's a chart. Length, width, and height of the box and the weight is a chart. It's not length times width times height and the weight and then the miles to get it delivered. These people are waiting for me to pay for the machine, leave the facility, because I got to go home, right? I'm not going to take the machine with me. And then they hit you with some price that's maybe 12,000 pesos for the shipping, for the shipper, and then he adds $400 to it. I don't know. I don't know how a price goes from $12,240 to $600. I don't know how that happens, but that's happened before, and then I canceled the order twice. So I did call up my bank this morning, and the order that I paid for from Lazada on, I don't know, February 25th. I think it was the 25th. That money is back in my bank account. Now that's six times I paid for a machine. 6 times the seller didn't have the machine. But 6 times the money went through Lazada. This deal is problematic because the money's going from my bank into his bank account. Even though he sends me a contract, and I believe he has a legitimate business, I might not get the machine. Because I don't, I don't believe anybody anymore here. I bought this machine 6 times. They all had the machine in stock. They could all have it delivered in, 6 to 10 days. And all the times I bought it, they never had the machine in stock, or they couldn't ship it. Or the shipping went from $240 to $600, and then $600 from the port of Bohol to my house, $1,200. So it went from $240 to $1,200. That's ridiculous. And I don't even know that if I would have paid that, I don't even know that he had the machine. Because I never saw the machine. It's just a paper trail. So that's what happened. And that's what happened. So the machine, the saga continues. Now, the other option is to travel to Manila. I'm going to go to the Red Cross this week. To travel to Manila in a few weeks when I have some time cleared up and I have some more things done around here. I got to go to the Red Cross. You got to get an RT-PCR test for 5,000 pesos. I get the RT-PCR test. I'll get it, say, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning in a few weeks. And then that day, when my travel agent gets back from the end of Bohol, which they don't have a signal in, she'll buy me the ticket right there. I'll go straight to her house, or she'll come to BQ and meet me, give me the ticket, and I'll go the next day. But it's only good for 72 hours. So I would have to go to round-trip ticket within 72 hours or 96 hours and get another RT-PCR test in Manila for 5,000 pesos, another $100. So it would cost me $400 in fees plus hotel. So that's my other option. But he still wants me to pay for the machine with the credit card, and then he'll call the shipper. I don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense. The shipper doesn't have to see the box. It's a box. Boxes, freights, crates. It's all shipped by length, width, and height, plus the weight and plus the mileage, or the pickup fee and drop-off fee. It's all shipped. The shipper in Manila, he does this every day with boxes. If he can pick up a rebar bender, then he has picked up a drill press. He has picked up a lathe. He has picked up a cement mixer. He knows what the price is. These people don't want to give you prices, contractual prices, because they want to throw an extra couple of $100 on the price, and that's how hard it is to do business here. They're making the money on the machine. The shipper's making money on the 12,000 pesos to get the machine here, but they got to make an extra $200 or $300 or $400 because they I don't know why. I don't know why. Why can't they just do business like business is meant to be done? Get me a price for the shipping. I'm not wrong about this. You get that sleazeball that says, he's always complaining. How could you not complain? You've never done anything in your life. You've never owned a business. You've never made an order other than your vitamins. You've never done anything in your life that required any kind of skills. You know nothing about anything I talked about. You know nothing about shipping. You know nothing about waybills. You know nothing about bill of lading. You know nothing about trucks that pick equipment up. You know nothing about shipping companies. You know nothing about prices. And he's complaining. I'm complaining because no one gives you a set price here. They all wait until you pay for half of what you want, and then they gouge you on the second half, if they can. It's happened twice with this rebar bender already. The shipping went from 12,000 pesos to 30,000 pesos. And then the second half of the shipping, which should be 10,000 pesos, went to 30,000 pesos. So the shipping was originally included for 12,000 pesos, $240, door to door from Manila to my door, and then it went to $1,200, 5 times the original price. That's price gouging. That's not good business. And that's why I don't have a rebar bender. Now, let me read the comments. And as far as me having people on my show and I remove or don't let them comment, it's my show. If you don't like it, go someplace else. It's not complicated. If you think I'm going to let some creepy little slime ball tell me how to run my show. It's just not going to happen. And in regards to me, I was called a rat this morning. I was called a rat because I legitimately made a complaint to the police department. I'm a rat. I saw something. When you see something, say something. That's what I did. But I'm a rat. But the real rat here is, of course, not me. Not me. Did I call the police? I certainly did. Without me, there would be no case. Without me, there would be basically nothing for grounds to bring somebody into the legal system. But without you doing what you did, there would be no grounds at all to bring you into the legal system, except superficial nonsense. As far as me getting in trouble because I called the police, and as far as me getting in trouble because I'm not minding my own business, it was my business, little man. It was my business. I'll say it again. You were talking about my pee-pee to a child. That makes it my business. You can't be that stupid to believe that it's not my business if you're talking about my private parts to a child. It's my business. And you don't understand that. And when you went after that man with the shovel, you better you threatened him. It wasn't a harmless act. Anybody that watches that video realizes how angry you are. You could have snapped and hit the guy with the shovel weapon. And it's harmless? You call that harmless? Someone's going to watch that video and say you're harmless? They're not going to do that. Someone's going to listen to yesterday's video where you cursed 112 times and used the F-bomb in the video 36 times. Someone is going to use and say, oh, this guy's completely rational. You are burying yourself. Plus, you mentioned the tenants again. And you have a gag order to not mention the tenants again. And when I saw that, I said something. And so did somebody else. And so did the tenants get a notice to add that to the collection of videos where you talk about them. You are not allowed to talk about the tenants. You're not allowed to mention the case. You're not allowed to say, well, I had one confrontation with the man. You're not allowed to say that. Why can't you get it through your head that the reason you don't have a lawyer is because you're not controllable? And as far as the bologna and cheese that you were passing out this morning, Fazio won't get the motion of consideration. I'm going to see to that. So let's ask the real question. Are you stupid, man? There are so many ways around getting a motion of consideration. All legal, by the way. One way around the motion of consideration is to do, as you said, pay $11,500 for, a visa, a permanent visa, permanent resident visa. That's one way. That's not that complicated. You just give them money and they give you the paperwork and you're done. That's one. Second way around that is go to the local vaccination center and pick one of the lesser, more well-known or better vaccinations for you. Get vaccinated and go to Vietnam for 3 days for a total of $600 to go to Vietnam and come back. That's the second legal way. So $600 for the motion of consideration or $600 and get vaccinated. You keep saying, ain't not going to get... Hey, dude, I do what I got to do, okay? But you are making it sound like there is no other option but for me to pay 11,500 pesos. I mean, $11,500. There are other options. One is get vaccinated and go to Vietnam and hope that the vaccination I take is a benign vaccination. Or pay the $11,500. Either one works fine for me. Depends on what I want to do that day. I'll flip a coin. But the way you say it is that he's going to be, I'm not going to be an overstayer, you moron. That's another thing. You are illiterate. You can't do math. You keep getting the wrong information. You don't know when I have to leave the country. I have months and months before I have to leave the country because you are an idiot. You only know when I got back from New York. You don't know anything else about my travels. You are an idiot to make these assumptions that I have only two options, pay 11.5 or get vaccinated. Okay. So I have two options, which are perfectly legal. And the fact that you keep saying, I'm going to get that motion is not going to go through. So if you do that, so what that you do that? Who is the rat at this point? Who is the rat that compiled all of my videos, all of my shows, all of the things I said, but used clips? And says you're not supposed to use clips. Says you're not supposed to use edited videos. Dude, they look at you like you are an illiterate man. And you are an illiterate man. Don't worry about me. If you had any brains at all, you would not have made another video where you broke the TRO. And because it doesn't have your face, we went through this. Voice analysis has proven it's you. What part of that did you not understand? And voice analysis is perfectly legal in the United States. What part of that did you not understand? And besides that, the main character in this is the Mushroom Man song. And for that, there are witnesses. You can't deny a witness. You just don't get it, dude. You buried yourself under the courthouse steps when you talked about my private parts to a child. You don't believe it? Just wait a few months. And in regards to anybody in the future sending any information to the local newspapers, totally legal. Perfectly legal. In fact, you did that to me. You're the one who called up immigration. You notified immigration of all of this stuff I supposedly did or did. You notified the barangay captain about me. You notified the prawn farm about me eating too many shrimp. You notified my neighbors in the hotel next door that I was doing something wrong. You said you were going to call up the local newspapers. You did all of this to me, but because your face isn't in the picture, one day somebody's probably going to just walk up to you and really throw you a lesson that you will never forget for the rest of your life. You won't know why, and you won't know when, and you won't know who, but one day it's inevitable how many people you have betrayed and slandered and maligned and ratted out. It's just inevitable that somebody is going to one day walk up and have words with you because you're an idiot. You're an idiot and you're a coward. If it wasn't a coward, you would have left that video up on your channel. What happened to all your videos? Where did all your videos go, dude? You had hundreds of videos. Hate videos. You called Dimples the C word. Now you're friends with Dimples. And because you didn't have your face in it, I could say anything I want. I didn't mention a name and my face isn't in the video. Is that going to stop Dimples' boyfriend from knocking your teeth out? Is that going to stop somebody because your face wasn't in? Everybody knows who you are and what you did. Is that really going to, because your face wasn't in the video, some tough guy, real tough guy, going to walk up to you and just want to bash your head in? And then you're going to say, what? My face wasn't in the video. They're not going to listen to that crap. Eventually that could happen to you. Eventually that's definitely possible. With all the people that you have maligned and slandered, it is possible. You say that people don't like me. Where are the people that don't like me? Trolls with no names and no channels that I block because they ask me, where's Daisy? After 2 years, we're broke up. Where's Daisy? I don't need to hear that crap. Or whatever they ask me. This is an alpha male channel. I do what I want on my channel because I'm the alpha male on this channel. And this, if you have a legitimate construction question that has to do with Philippines building, I'll answer it. As far as me having permits, you are illiterate. You are completely illiterate. I showed you the permit number a dozen times when I said I was going to show it to you around January 10th. The permit number is clear as day. Dozens of times in several videos. But I don't have to show you the permit number. I have permits and plans. You still can't get it through your head that everything I do here is legal. The immigration is not going to get on my case for what I'm doing here as far as construction is concerned. My overview of what I do is 100% legitimate. Because you're too stupid to understand Philippines law, you believe that you're going to get me in trouble. You're not. You're not. And the third option that I have, as far as leaving the Philippines, I could go to Vietnam, I could go to New York City, visit my family, I could go anywhere I want. You never thought about that, did you? I can go anywhere I want. I can go to Thailand, I could go to Vietnam, I could go even to Korea or America. See, you are digging a hole. I'm not the one digging the hole, dude. You're the one digging the hole. You just gave the tenant's lawyer another video where you broke the TRO. Another one. Because you are illiterate. You don't understand what you signed. I could go to Hawaii. That's true. I could learn how to surf. That's very true, Louis Pagan Ponce. I never thought about that. That's true. There's nothing stopping me from going anywhere I want. The rat. Louis, the rat couldn't withstand the force of sweet open-handed smack. If nothing else, he embodies the old saying, ignorance is bliss. That's true. He wouldn't be able to take a smack. Not a proper smack. I never thought about going to Hawaii. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I could buy No, I won't even tell you. I could go to Hawaii, but I could go to Hawaii. That's true. I never thought about that. Damn. What the hell was I thinking? Dude. Hello, Louis. Thank you for stopping by. You have no idea. Where is the slob, by the way? Your friend, the one that you sent here or you're going to send here. Where is he? Where is he? You want to see how many friends I got here? Have the slob show up in front of my house. It's all arranged. Nothing bad, but he won't be able to do what he said he was going to do. He's got a big mouth, but I doubt that he's going to back it up with anything. And if he does, he's welcome to stand in front of the house. He's just not welcome to run out slurs at me. The neighbors won't allow it. So you incorporate the garbage of the garbage, the degeneracy of the degeneracy of the garbage on YouTube. You incorporate them as your friends. Aloe is a perfect example. This is who the creep incorporated to attack me in video format or verbal format or some sort of social media format. The creep recruited Aloe. Aloe is by far the sickest person on YouTube as far as what he says and what he does. Aloe sent me, in order to hurt my feelings, on Facebook. I got to be careful because the show isn't rated R. But he sent me pictures of men doing things to other men that, let's say, see this part of your hand disappears, then the wrist, and then this much of the forearm disappears. He sent me pictures of a man's hand disappearing. And the man who's taking the man's forearm, shall we say, has two more komosikiamas that he's holding on to. Okay? The NBI, and I made a video of the pictures that Aloe sent me, and the NBI looked at this and said, "We've never seen pictures like this." I said, I wouldn't know. I don't own any gay porno books. He goes, "This is not from a gay porno book. These are from the dark web, because nobody's ever seen gay porn in a book like the gay porn that Aloe sent me. And this is who the creep recruited to harass me, or as that piece of garbage Popeye says, harangue me. Okay? Then he recruited what? The degenerate from Thailand, who, by the way, took 90% of all his videos off the internet so the Philippines government wouldn't see what a piece of garbage he is. So why did he take his video? Why did the creep take his videos down? Because the creep knows that those videos are insidious and damaging to his so-called demeanor. The creep took his videos down because his videos show you that he is, in fact, a malicious little man. Little man, little man, little man, little man, little man. Sung to the song of Our Man Flint. Little man, little man, little man, little man, little man. When the watch came out and went like that. So the creep took his videos down because they malign his good-natured character. They just tell everybody what a creep you are, that's all. And the degenerate from Thailand took 90% of his videos down because they show you what a degenerate he is. And Aloe doesn't really make videos. He just sends porno pictures, and I'm not the only person he sent those pictures to. He sent them to Big Kevin and a couple other people. He sent me pictures on Facebook. How does that hurt me? How does it hurt me? And then he goes, in the pictures he wrote notes, "I want to do this to you. Is this okay, Fazio, that I do this to you?" No, it's not okay, Aloe. But if you want to come here and talk about it, you come and we'll talk about it. And this is who the creep incorporates and recruits as friends. Because he's that twisted. And to prove he's that twisted, he talked about my private parts to a child. That's not correct thing to do. That's not allowed. And I told you the Mushroom Man song was going to take you down, and it's going to take you down. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. And as far as all that nonsense, well, I don't have a date, and you have a date in court, moron. You're too illiterate to understand. You were handed the paperwork to be in court on a certain date. Don't show up. See what happens. Don't show up for the date. Don't show up. Just don't show up. Don't worry about it. You'll lose by default, and that'll be the end of it. And where is the shyster? Where is the shyster? Did the shyster allow you to make a video this morning? Did the shyster say, yeah, go ahead, talk about the tenants. The TRO doesn't mean anything. The judge didn't mean the TRO when he made you swear to an affidavit saying that you would abide by the TRO. The judge, he doesn't care. that you talk about the tenants like they're crazy and nuts, and you went up against one of the tenants. You admitted it. You are so stupid. Stupid. You're a stupid man. Go ahead, just don't show up for court. There are people laughing about that. Where is the shyster? Just tell us where the shyster is, because right now, I don't see a shyster in the picture. I don't see a shyster's name on anything. I don't see a court-appointed lawyer on anything. I don't see a lawyer representing you on anything. I don't think you have a lawyer. I don't think you have the money for a lawyer. I think that the lawyer said, I can't defend you. Hire somebody else, and somebody else looked at it. They all talked to each other, and they said, you got to give us a 20. Listen, dude, here's what's going to happen. You're going to spend $25,000 on a lawyer before this is over, one way or another. So let's say you cost me $11,500 if I went that route. It's $11,500 in the bank. You don't lose that money. Till you get married, or if you have a child, that money stays in a bank account. And when you decide to leave the Philippines or ask for the money back, you have to leave the Philippines for 3 days, and then you can come back later on. It's not like the money disappears. They don't keep the money. They keep $1,500. But where is your shyster? Where is your shyster? This is the question. What is the name of the law firm that's representing you that told you this morning? Go ahead, put out a video talking about the tenants. Break the TRO 5, 6, 7 more times. Don't worry about it. No one will notice. Curse 112 times. Use the F-bomb 36 times. Go ahead. Go ahead. It'll make you sound like the most sane man on YouTube. It'll make you sound like a normal person. 112 cussing down of somebody 112 times, and 36 major F-bombs. And you think, I talked to somebody this morning that knows you personally, and they said the little man, when he yells and screams like that, it makes him feel powerful. That's so they believe that you are so insecure that you have to use all those F-bombs. I mean, use a 2 or 3 couple, rat mofo, something like that. But you just fat, mud, be 112 times in 15 minutes. That's 8 times 15 is 120. That's 7 F-bombs, 7 cuss words or F-bombs a minute. 7. Nobody curses like that in real life. If you ran your mouth like that in real life, somebody would just break your jaw. They'd shut you up. No, even if they didn't know who you were. If you were just doing that on a train and nobody was around, well, they'd probably just break your jaw. You wouldn't get away with that in real life. You're not a tough man. You're not even a tough guy. You were never a tough guy. You just got a big mouth. And as far as people not liking me here, watch what happens when the fat man gets here, the degenerate. Watch what happens. He's going to live stream it, right? And well, he should. Won't be a long live stream though. Watch how many people come and say hello. Moron. You are so stupid. Where is your shyster? You buried yourself with your legal response, proving to the world that you're illiterate. Then you're sending pages and pages and pages of stuff, random clips from videos and random word phrases to where? To immigration? They're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything at all. If anything, they'll look at you like the nut job that you are. You still don't know. They will not use an excerpt of a video. They want to see the whole transcript of the video. So somebody's going to watch a 3-hour video and read the transcript? No. They won't use excerpts. You could make anybody out to be anything you want with clips, short little clips. Anyway, I got things to do. So an hour of this is long enough for me. Louis, thanks for stopping by. Spaghetti legs. He's a coward, man. He's a coward. He's a coward. My Philippines Interest DQ. It's pretty vast video collection, actually. Yeah, the videos. The videos. Oh, my video. I'm not sure if my videos you're talking about or the videos he compiled. Louis, it doesn't matter. Even if he had 100 videos of me talking about what it's like living here in the Philippines, I cannot believe that any harm would come from that. I just don't believe it. I believe you're allowed to talk about what life is here like in the Philippines. Then people are able to come and judge for themselves if they want to go through this. There are nobody that you'll ever meet, no foreigner that you'll ever meet will disagree with what I say. They may not say it on YouTube, but they won't disagree. The case in point, Wilcon. They have a multi-billion-dollar building. Their prices are twice the price, and they can't look up their inventory in the computer, in the manager's computer. Who does business like this? Nowhere in the world. And if you go to their website and you punch in 14-inch metal power miter, shows you a roll of duct tape. Their website doesn't work. The manager can't look in the computer for specific items. You got to go look in the store for a specific item. Well, who does business like that? You can go to Wilcon. I said the building is beautiful. They have 1 million pieces of stock, but the prices are not in line with prices of Build-A-Ware or City Hardware. They're not even close. The shyster purposely tells the rat to stay off YouTube, knowing damn well the rat can't help himself. They'll make a fortune on him, says Louis Pagan. The shyster is the shyster set this guy up badly. He set this guy up to take the fall. I have seen this from the beginning. Nobody, when I had talked to a lawyer about this case and told them what the guy was doing, making videos about the tenants, and they laughed. A real lawyer, not a fake lawyer. They laughed. They said no lawyer would allow him to do that. LOL. The rat already has a broken jaw. His teeth are crooked. I wouldn't imagine. I would imagine somebody has adjusted his jaw in the past. Yeah, he's missing half his teeth as well. Those are not real teeth. Those are, well, they're either rubber for about $6 from Lazada, or they're real new plastic dentures for $400. That's what Obama was going to spend. Or somehow he broke into the Smithsonian Museum and stole George Washington's dentures, the wooden ones. They're wood. They might be wood. And what happened to that business that I told you to start the other day? Did you start the toenail clipping business? Listen, dude, I was thinking about you because you're lower than a snake's belly. And toenails are usually on the floor, touching the floor. This would be the perfect job for you. You could get an apron and have, look, let me try to show this to you, okay? Let's just pretend that these two pens are files, right? And this is a nail clipper. This is a nail clipper. You could get an apron and put little pockets in the front of the apron. And you could have your nail files on this side. And you could have your nail clippers, 3 or 4 different nail clippers over here. And on this arm here, you could have a couple of those polishing tools, like a toothbrush, but it has velvet on it. And you could have polishing, little short sleeve, and put the polishing tools there. Then you get one of those old boxes that they used to go around to the subway stations with, where they put your foot on the box and you polish the shoes. You could get one of those old boxes, and then they put the feet on the old box, and you clip the toenails, right? Now listen to me, okay? You don't know the value of toenails. Let's say, like I said yesterday, let's say Barbara Streisand was going to Hawaii and she let you clip her toenails. Those toenails would be worth money, real money in real life. But there are other people whose toenails you would be clipping for $5. You keep a record of that. And if they ever become famous, you tell them, hey, I got your toenails. And if you want them back, you have to give me like more money. You buy them back, And if you don't give them back, I'm going to do a black magic voodoo candle burning ceremony on you. Because toenails, fingernails, and hair is the main way to go with a voodoo ceremony. Like you did the voodoo. Why did you take the voodoo videos down? Because it makes you look like an idiot. But we have copies of that. But that's not the point. The toenails, Dennis, LOL. The toenails could be, look, let me tell you something, little man. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. There are things that the Hollywood actors have that they sell at auctions, right? Okay. And that like the cape from Superman. Maybe that cape is worth $100,000. I don't know. But there are other things that the actors who played Superman could give you for like $20. Okay? Let's say, I don't know, pick an actor. Let's say, I'm trying to think. Let's say not Chuck Norris, because I like him. Let's say, I don't know. We got to pick an actor. Let's pick an actor. Let's say, I don't know the names of anybody on TV. I don't watch television. So, you get a guy who's an actor, right? Let's say that Elvis Presley memorabilia, right? Elvis Presley memorabilia, the King shoes, the blue suede shoes, we worth $200,000-$300,000. You get another actor like that. Yeah, I know a guy, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is a very famous, very good actor, right? Little man, this is for you. This is not for everybody, because this is something that you would be good at. So you right away to Keanu Reeves. I'm one of your biggest fans, and you ask Keanu Reeves if he has any underwear that's been soiled with semen, and you're willing to give him $100 for that soiled semen underwear. Okay? Reasonable price, has no real market value, but now you have a positive response and a pair of Keanu Reeves semen soiled underwear in the mail on the way to your house with a signed door-to-door mail that came from Keanu Reeves. Now you have these underwear. You can put these soiled semen underwear up on sale on eBay, or you like Craigslist because it's the kind of guy you are. You could take those soiled underwear and advertise them as Keanu Reeves semen soiled underwear, and you can ask for like $300 or start the bidding at $250. You don't know how many people there are out there that would want to buy those. And Keanu Reeves thought they just wasn't worth anything. He sold them to you for $100. And collecting semen soiled underwear would be something you would be good at. Because you have a way of writing letters and, documents that Keanu Reeves would look at your illiterate handwriting and say, this guy, he could use my help, and send you a pair of semen soiled underwear. And then you could make a fortune from this. Now let's say now you realize what the kind of potential is. You could start writing all the Hollywood actors and actresses. Maybe Steven Seagal, he's a big guy, right? Maybe he farts into a pair of underwear. And maybe it's a little, fecal matter in the underwear, right? And maybe he doesn't wear his underwear twice. Maybe he'll sell them to you. You would be good at this. You could document that you ordered a pair of Steven Seagal soiled underwear for $200 and you're willing to let them go for $400. You don't know, there could be a guy out there that says, oh God, he's got Steven Seagal's soiled underwear. I gotta have them. I just gotta have those underwear. You could get $1,000. You could be making a fortune. Then you'd have enough money to pay for a lawyer. Then you'd have enough money. LOL from Dennis. Louis Pagan Punch. Oh yeah, for sure. The rat's chair is easily worth $20,000. The palm tree worth roughly $5,000. The chair, you could auction off the chair. I never thought about that. And you could put that this is the chair that the chair sat on. Back in the day. Louis Pagan Punch, LOL. The rat can never be a best-selling author. He has trouble. If you were to read his name and not know what his name is, he has trouble writing his own name. He's illiterate. So don't let it stop at Steven Seagal's soiled underwear, because you're going to have other people, A-listers. Jennifer Lopez. I know that Jennifer Lopez has passed gas in her underwear. And I don't know for a fact she washes her underwear. She may throw them out. You might be able to get in touch with her manager and make a deal for the Jennifer Lopez soiled underwear at the end of the week. She may not wear soiled underwear twice. A lot of people. Michael Jackson, for instance, didn't eat off the same dishes twice. He threw them out. Broke them and threw them out. But there's a lot of people out there with quirks like that. And then somebody's going to say, well, I don't wear soiled underwear. I don't wash them. And this guy's willing to give me $100. I got 10 pairs. You could buy them in bulk. You could get a 10% discount. Especially semen soiled underwear. I think that would be the way to go, because then you would actually have DNA. You could sell those semen soiled underwear to a geneticist. And then when the time comes, he could freeze that stuff. And then they could clone Keanu Reeves. And you would be the person, you would be the benefactor. The gas whisperer, says Lewis. He's a bona fide get. I would imagine, I can't say for sure, but I would imagine that he has gone through a laundry basket as a kid, sniffing. I would imagine that's the truth. Most kids do that, but I think he took it to the limit. But sniffing is one thing. But anyway, yeah, you would be really good at collecting other people's dirty underwear because you're always putting out everybody's laundry. He still does. I hope he doesn't hear this live stream. Hey, dude, anytime you feel that your boys have grown to the size of my mother's boys when she was born, you have the right and the opportunity to come here. Anytime you want to say something to me in person, don't worry about how fat I am or anything like that. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just come. Just remember what I did to you in the courtroom and you backed down like a little girl. Just remember that and let that build up in your mind. How you backed down in front of everybody, how you cowered down like a little girl, how you backed down. Just remember that. And then let that anger and that angst build up to where you grow a pair big enough to come here and say something to my face. Because you curled up into a little teeny little ball and went like this. You see how he gets, sir? He gets like that on YouTube, too. They all laughed at you. How I wish I was there. You got sprayed down. You got hosed down verbally. And you backed down in front of everybody that was there. Because you were the one that said, you're going to go to Fazio's house and you're going to tell Fazio he owes me money. You owe me money, mofo. And if you don't pay me, I'm going to cold cock Fazio. That's what you said. That video was in the files, in the records. I still have all of those videos, by the way. When we go back, we're going to grab one with your face in it and show people that it is your face. But you were going to come to my house with another Italian guy and you were going to knock me out, cold cock me. And then in the courtroom, you had the opportunity to go outside and you cow like a little girl. This guy backed down like a little. He got real small and he got really like curled up next to his companion. And his shoulders sunk down. There was no more bravado. Bravado was gone. After he got hosed down a little bit, the bravado was gone. And then he goes, see how he gets? See how he gets, sir? He gets like this on YouTube, too. You're a coward, dude. You're a coward. You wouldn't do it then. You won't do it today. You won't do it tomorrow. But you're welcome to try. Okay? I offered you 10,000 US dollars to just get in the ring with me. And you wouldn't do it. For $10,000, I would fight Mike Tyson. I would train for 6 months, too. I would try to win. I know I'm not going to win, but I would train and make it legit. But you wouldn't even get in the ring. You wouldn't even get in the ring. Why? Because you're a coward. You all that bravado, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're not going to do anything. Get it through your head. Get it through your head that you're a coward. Just understand that you're a coward. The NBI agent knows that you're a coward. The prosecutor knew you were a coward. And the girl that you were sitting next to, she certainly saw that you were a coward. There was no doubt about that. My Philippines interest. Okay, wait. What a man, especially in front of the missus. I would be totally embarrassed. That's what I was saying. How could you face your woman after that? You should have jumped up and smacked me. You should have jumped up and made a move. You had the opportunity to do that, but he didn't. He had the opportunity. He was close enough for some real hand-to-hand combat, and no one would have blamed you. Not after what I had said to you, and let's go. No one would have blamed you if you jumped up. Of course, would self-preservation prevailed that day for you. My Philippines interest, DQ. Oh, I was referring to the videos that have been submitted as evidence against him. Thank you for that. Yeah. The evidence file against you is big, is large. You know, I could. You just we know there's something wrong with you. Let's not beat around the bush. That you talked about my private parts to a child, and then you don't think there's anything wrong with that. There is, but you can't get it through your head. And you're going to see the Children's Protective Services when you get back to the Philippines because of that video. If you get back here, you'll see how much more power one particular man has over the whole judicial system in the Philippines because of any interaction that's inappropriate with a child. One guy makes one referral and you're gone. You're gone. There's no going to immigration. There's no lawyers going to be involved. None of that shit is going to happen. It all hinges on one man's opinion, especially how you keep saying the Bureau of Immigration. This goes beyond the Bureau of Immigration. You'll see when you get here. You'll see when you get here. So, and in regards to the newspapers, that if someone sends all your videos, all the channels that have all your videos on them, there's nothing illegal about that. They're your videos. Some have your face, some don't. Some just have your voice. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing illegal about sending videos to the tenants. By the way, that video went to the tenants. That video wasn't even, it was done processing and the tenants had a copy. So now they don't necessarily need more videos, but the evidence file against you is so big. And then being that you waited months to make another video just means you can't control yourself. And the video with you cussing 112 times, 36 F-bombs against me, but no proof of what I've done. What? So I applied for a motion of consideration. That makes me a bad person. I abided by the laws of the Philippines. I can either buy an SSRV visa, or I can go to Vietnam, get the jab and go to Vietnam. Either one is okay for me. If that's what it boils down to, then that's what I'll have to do. It's not complicated. But why do you make it sound like he'll never get the jab, so he'll be an overstayer? No, I would not choose to be an overstayer over getting the jab, but you are too stupid. You are stupid. You are illiterate. You don't know the law. I don't know what to tell you, man. I've tried to help you many times before. I told you years ago, just shut your mouth and forget that I exist, but you couldn't do it. You couldn't shut your mouth. You still can't shut your mouth. Nothing is going to happen to me. Bureau of Immigration is not going to ask me to leave the country because of you. It doesn't matter how much crap you put in the file. If that's the case, then I'll compile videos about you and then they'll ask you to leave the country. Who's the bigger creep here? Okay? You by far are the sleaziest person that has ever disgraced social media. By far. We're not even talking about my opinion. We are talking about how many people you have done harm to, verbally, emotionally, intentionally, socially, how many thousands, tens of thousands of hours of people's lives you have usurped, calling their girlfriends and wives prostitutes and whoas. You are the most despised, despicable person on YouTube. Not me. If I've upset a few people, 100 people, 1,000 people, you've upset 10,000 or 20,000 people listening to your diatribes. But there's not a single person I know that's going to come here and want to beat me up because of anything I said. But for you, there are hundreds of people out there that would just love to run across you in real life. Completely different, you and me. Maybe people don't like my attitude, but they don't want to fight me or beat me up. You, on the other hand, people are begging. They're begging to just run into you by accident on the street, which is why you don't leave the house. You know that. I know it. Everybody knows it. You're a coward. You can't back up anything that you say you're going to do. Let's see. Okay, so my Philippines interest, thank you for that. That is why the little man has all these rants. He can't forgive himself for being such a wuss. Yeah, when he backed down in front of his, I think he calls it her, his girlfriend. He backed down in front of her. Let me tell you something. Had you done that to me, it would have been, you would have got what you wanted. I'd have stood up and went out to the park with you. So what could you possibly do? Beat me up? So what could you do? Beat me up? That's the worst that you could do. There's going to be a bunch of other people out. It's going to be like, let's go see how this works out. But you cowered down in front of the prosecutor, and they knew you were lying. You were lying. You got away with this because you're a liar. You got away with this. It's not my face. It's not my. They knew you were lying. How you got away with that, I still don't know to this day. But you won't get away with it the next time. It's going to be completely different, and there's going to be a next time. From what I understand, Hawaiian prosecutors do not play. They will throw the book at him. For what he has done and what's provable, yes. The rat is an emotional ticking time bomb. Of course he is. He can't control himself. 112 cuss words in 15 minutes and 40 seconds, 36 F-bombs, and that makes him reasonable, irrational, makes him a nutcase. A nutcase with a 18-inch narrow back with a 3-foot yellow stripe running down his back. You're a coward, dude. Just remember I said you're a coward. Just remember that for the rest of your life. And then whenever anybody challenges you, remember you're a coward. You do what cowards do. You cower down and you back away. Because there isn't a single person on YouTube that I think can't beat you if in a fair fight. And it would be a fair fight. What wouldn't be a fair fight is demanding that Barry goes to your house with no second as a witness. But you'll videotape it all, and it'll be in your yard. Already he's stacked up against them. I told Barry that day, don't do it. He's setting you up, but Barry knew that. Because you will never have a fair fight with anybody. You always have to have, you would have the police in the wings. I'm not going to have, but what if you did have the police in the wings? Book 'em, Dano. Book 'em, Dano. Hawaii 5-0. Hawaii 5-0. Book 'em, Dano. You are going to go under the courthouse steps because of the Mushroom Man video. And I did that to you because you, in my opinion, broke the law. So I called up the law and made a legitimate complaint. And now we're going to find out who was right. I believe you broke the law. I complained about the possibility that you broke the law. And now that's going to cost you already 6 months of your time and $20,000 to $25,000. Minimum. Well, I'll have enough money when I get... You're not coming back. Don't come back. Don't come back. There's nothing here for you. Nothing. There's nothing here for you. What is here for you? You're gonna go back into your bedroom and make videos, hate rants. What do you do here? You don't do anything. I went to Wilcon yesterday. I did a live stream about the Rebar bender. I do live streams how hard it is to buy stuff here. I went to immigration yesterday. I went to my lawyer's office yesterday. I went to Wilcon yesterday. I spoke with countless amounts of people yesterday about rebar benders, emails back. You don't do any of that stuff. You don't do anything constructive. Nothing. You make hate videos. And now, God knows how many hate videos you got them. You probably got a whole repertoire of hate videos, numbered, waiting to go. When you beat the case, you're not beating nothing, dude. You're going into the system. They're gonna make it so you have to sign in and sign out. You're not getting out. You're not getting out of this. It's not gonna happen, Lewis. I'm gonna say goodbye. But if you want to say hello, I'll call you as soon as we're done here. If you have the notion to, I wanted to talk to you about something altogether of a different nature. I got that sorted out. That thing we talked about before. Well, it looks like it's going to get sorted out. So if you have, just say yes or no, and I will just end this live stream within 30 seconds of me saying yes or no, and I'll call you up. So little man. Remember on our man Flint, the wristwatch had a little handle came out of the wristwatch and went like the and woke him up from his deep meditation. It sounds like little man. Okay, Lewis, I'm going to end this live stream anyway. Thank you, Lewis. I'll do it in the morning. I'm Bing Permy from the Philippines, baby. Hey, little man, get ready. We're moving right along, little man. Moving right along. Your time is slowly ticking away. I'm Bing Permy from the Philippines, baby. And of course, I'm Bing Permy means take care always. From Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. That's right. Oy vey and shalom, baby.